All right, guys. Injuries for the game. Curtis Rourke will be out. Renardo Green will be out. Yi Tour questionable. Ricky Purcell will be out. That's it. Go ahead.
Renardo have a setback of some sort?
Yeah, his neck's been bothering him since the game, and just didn't get any better, so we had to shut him down for the week.
Will Ricky travel, or will he stay back in rehab?
Ricky will stay back.
Was he close at all?
Yeah, he was close, but not close enough.
And then if Eric Kendricks, is he available if you want to move him up?
Yes, he is available.
Does Tatum step right back in at middle linebacker?
Yeah, that's the plan. He had a good week. He's healthy, so I've got no tag on him, so he's good to go.
You mentioned Curtis Rourke. What have you seen from him on the practice field? It's obviously your first time seeing him out there. How does he look these last couple of weeks?
It's been good to have him out there. You know, he's been working his butt off on the side since he's been activated for practice. So we get to see a little bit of that film and stuff like that. But getting him out there in front of the defense and things like that, it's been cool. You know, he probably had some nerves the first day, but he's been working, rotating with those guys with the card looks, and he's had a good 2 weeks.
How much of it is, obviously him trying to service the defense, but also you guys want to see how he performs?
Yeah, I mean, you try to service the defense by running the plays, but we don't tell him he has to throw here and stuff. So you still get to see the guy play the position, attack coverages, and see where he goes with the ball, and he's done a real good job.
Has Yetur shown enough in this practice window to be ready to play?
Yeah, he had a good 2 days that we got him out there, rested him today. We'll decide on that when we have to, which I think is Monday. So we'll feel it out over these next 2 days.
Samo looks good to go.
Yeah, he had a good week.
You guys have a lot of, or at least a few guys on the team that, as Tongas, who took over a prominent role, that had to step back when George got back. Connor Colby got playing time. Siegel started early and then stopped playing. How valuable is the time they put in the bank in case, for the last 3 games, you could need them, or even the postseason? I mean, the fact that they got that time in there, how valuable is that?
It's huge. I mean, you never know until guys get that time, and I think our guys are very confident and they believe in themselves, but I don't think it's ever really true confidence until you get to go through those experiences. And I mean, just bringing up Tonjas, for example, when George went down in the first quarter versus Seattle, we had a big game plan to George, and when Jake stepped in, and we really never know how he'd react, and he did a hell of a job, and it just picked up each week. We know if George has an injury, if Luke has an injury, he'll be ready to go and help us win, and same thing with those other guys. Whenever you know that, the staff and the players, it really helps us through these situations.
Kirk Cousins kind of went viral this week doing a dissertation about how difficult it is for quarterbacks to decipher coverages pre-snap, and how progressions have had to change as a result. When he first got in the league, it was half the field. Now it's pure progressions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have you seen that evolution? Have you had to change your offense in the same way?
Oh yeah, we've been doing progression reads for a while. I mean, it's always, I'd say like when I first started, Lynch actually sent me what Kirk did last night. Kirk's a smart guy. He should be on TV. But he's explained it well. So everyone should watch that instead of what I'm about to say. But when we first got in the league, it was so simple with 2 shell, 1 shell. So you just picked a side, and you had 2 guys down to your back. The teams that disguised, it was always harder, and sometimes the quarterback gets caught on the wrong side, and you don't have as good of a play, and you got to find your outlet to a back. The more years have gone by, I can sit in my office with a remote, slowing it down and everything, and it takes me a while to figure out whether it's 2 shell or 1 shell and things like that. So you have plays in that are across the board reads where it used to be maybe 90-10, and the more defenses get used to what you're doing 90% of the time, they get better at it. So the plays you do 10% of the time are the ones you have more success on. So the next year you go into training camp and you work more of those plays, and then it just slowly evolves. I thought what Kirk was saying is a good example of everything. Whatever someone consistently does and you get good at, the defenses will eventually stop it, and everything has always got to evolve like that.
You guys already made the coaching point that based on the 2-point conversion that Seattle got the other night, that if it may be a lateral and that ball's free in the end zone, that's 2 points sitting there. Should everybody know that? Have you talked about it?
Yeah, we actually did today. I mean, everyone. I mean, I remember when I first got in the league, and think we scrimmaged New Orleans, and there was just obvious incompletions on the ground, and defensive guys were running and jumping on it. And I remember how much I used to make fun of them for it, because I'm like, don't they know that's incomplete? But then it was actually Denver versus the Chargers. Jay Cutler fumbled a ball on a pass. They blew a whistle, and the Chargers recovered it, and the game should have been over. There was like a minute left. Denver was down 7. But because they blew the whistle, they weren't allowed to give it to the Chargers. And since that day, they realized that you can't, that even if you blow the whistle, you got to allow someone to recover it. So since that day, everyone's been coaching, hey, if that ball's on the ground, grab it. The 2-point conversion was one that seemed a little bit over the top because it didn't look obvious to anybody that was the case. But someone had a habit of grabbing it and ended up probably helping them win the game. Not probably, it did.
When you, the quarterback and progressions and the change in that, like roughly would you say, I mean, obviously it's gradual as it evolves, but like roughly when would you say that began to change?
I'd say more, I mean, I think it's been that way for me since I've come here. I'd say more, I mean, I think everybody's different. I think for myself, probably around like the 2015, around there. I mean, just, it was always in there, but what you started to really start to major in was more of that. That's just across the board reads and how the defense folds, and that's why I always try to articulate how sometimes when guys don't get targets and things like that, it's not always just because they're struggling. It's just how progressions go, how defenses play.
Okay, so in watching what Kirk said, I confess I may have gotten a little confused at times. Wasn't totally following.
Well, there's nothing about injuries.
Do you ever, like when we're asking you questions, and obviously we're at a level of understanding that might be here and there, maybe above possibly, do you ever just get really frustrated and just have to bite your tongue? Like you have no idea what's going on?
Never once in my life. I got so much respect for everyone's football knowledge, just like you guys probably have respect for how I would spell words and articulate things and write. But no, it's sometimes it's. I mean, that was cool what Kirk did, and you know, sometimes it's, you know, we talk about stuff that, I mean, it's just we live in our world and we're always looking at stuff and progressions and coverages and things, and sometimes those words don't always make sense to everyone else. I'm just watching it from a TV standpoint, but I mean, that's what we do. So I like to say that's the only thing I kind of know about. Maybe my playlist I play in my office is about it. Kirk knows a lot of stuff though. He's a pretty smart dude.
How's Kendrick's conditioning coming along?
Good. I mean, it's we wanted to see this week, you know, having last week with his injury, but we're challenging him this week. I thought it looked good, and no concerns.